Today, my friends, this guide is going to be your ultimate guide to using the Lavaloon portion of an attack. So that means that we're going to be going over spells, Grand Warden, Loon deployment, Hound deployment, all of that good stuff. All of these tips work from Town Hall 9 all the way up to Town Hall 13. We're also going to show you guys a couple more examples as well in order to show you guys how to Lalo properly. So that's right, guys, we're going to be going over Lavaloon pathing. We're going to be going over, stuff like balloon numbers. So how this is going to work is basically we're going to be starting off with spells. We're going to teach you most to all of the spells that are commonly used in the Lavaloon portion. Some of them are used, some of them won't be shown, like this skeleton spell. I really don't have access to them on the on the practice mode, so I really can't give you guys a demonstration that way, but just know that it is going to be used in stuff like Sui Lalo, so we'll see a couple examples later on in the video on that, but also on top of this, but we've also got stuff after that section. We're going to be then looking at the Grand Warden, how you guys can use the Grand Warden and stuff like that. On top of that, we're also going to show you guys how to use the balloons, so the balloon deployment, number of balloons and stuff like that. And then towards the end, we're going to teach you guys Hound deployment as well, teach you the big things in terms of learning, where a Hound should be placed, and then how much value it can get. And on top of that, we can also be able to sort of show you guys a couple examples using the Lavaloon portion in terms of different strategies. So we are going to look at maybe 2 to 3 different examples there towards the end. So let's go and jump into the first section, which is going to be spells. So that's right, guys. In this first section, we're going to be going over sort of all the spells in terms of it. Now, of course, I don't have access to all of them, but this is still going to be a very sort of important thing to talk about. So we're going to first talk about rage spells. So rages are very common. So I think the 4 most common spells that you're going to be bringing is going to be rage, poison, freeze, and haste. Heal can be used sometimes. The clone spell is only used in Electrone, and the skeleton spell is only used in Sui Lalo and in Skelly Donut attacks. Other than that, you're mostly bringing either rage, depending on the strategy, and more commonly haste and poison. So what we're going to be talking about here is the use of rage. So rage is a little bit different compared to a lot of other things. So rage spells, if we put in a good group here and we rage them up, they're going to get a speed boost, but they're also going to get a damage boost. So you'll see right here is that they are going to be able to do a lot of work against a lot of these defenses because they have that damage boost, and it's just going to allow them to really do a lot of work. Now, the haste spell, on the other hand, this is a really useful spell, and this is something that I really want you guys to understand. So let's say we want to get to this wizard tower. So I'm gonna drop in a lava hound. So I'm gonna drop in 1 lava hound here. Then we're gonna drop in 3 balloons and 3 balloons. So we want to haste up into this group into there because we want to make sure that they are getting to that wizard tower. Then we're going to haste them up again. They're actually going to go over to the Tesla, but we can actually still get the value from the haste from the other side, which they're going to be able to go ahead and hopefully take out that wizard tower. Oh, so close. We can actually get that 1 loon over there to do that, but you guys can still see and get my point. So typically what we're doing is we're hasting up to those really key defenses. So again, I'm going to show you guys again. So we're going to drop in, let's see, so this is going to be a wizard, so we're going to drop in 5 balloons, or roughly 5 balloons here. We're going to wait, and then we're going to haste them up into the cannon. They're going to go to the wizard tower, and then they're going to go over to the air defense and stuff like that. Of course, I don't have a lava hound tanking for them, but you guys can still see the idea. That is the haste spells. So you really want to try and haste up into stuff like wizard towers, archer towers, air defenses, air sweepers, expos, inferno towers, eagle. Those are always going to be extremely important defenses. Other than those, that's really not going to be it. I mean, other than that, that's it. You don't have to haste up into things like Teslas or anything. They're really not that big of a deal. They just disrupt pathing. But other than that, that gives you guys a solid idea of what you're trying to look for. So let me just circle the things that you are going to try and look for to haste up. So you're mainly going to try and do wizard towers, the air defenses, expos, infernos, air sweepers, archer towers. So those are going to be your big, and the eagle, of course. So those are going to be your big key things to sort of, make sure that you're keeping note of, so that then, of course, you guys can actually be able to get a lot of good value from using your Lavaloon portion. Now, what about heal spells? So heal spells, as I said, can sometimes be used more specifically in stuff like Sui Lalo and Electron. You're only bringing this if you're doing a Lavaloon portion, like, let's say, well, we only have 10 balloons, but let's say we have this as our heal spell. So we're just going to be healing up right here in order to sort of keep all of our balloons alive as we go in. It's not a perfect example, but the idea there, and what I'm trying to get you guys to sort of understand, is heal spell should only be used during the Lavaloon portion when you don't use your Grand Warden ability. So using your Grand Warden ability, let's say you're going through one multi-inferno, then that is when you pop the Warden, and then you have a heal spell, and you're going to use that sort of the mid to sort of the end of the attack, where you're charging into a second multi-inferno compartment. So that's kind of the idea, and that's sort of the plan of it. Other than that, those are going to be the spells that you're going to be commonly using. I wish I could give you guys an example of all the Lavaloon spells, but I just don't have access to them in the practice mode. But other than that, let's go ahead and show you guys how you guys can use the Grand Warden in terms of your Lavaloon. So in this next section, we're going to be talking about the Grand Warden. So we're going to talk about sort of how I Lalo in terms of, using the Grand Warden, using his ability and stuff like that. So that is going to be the idea. Of course, this base is a little bit different. So typically with the Warden, you want to try and pop his ability really when the loons need it the most. So whether this be, if both of these Infernals were set to multi, then I would probably pop it there, but I'll probably pop it around. I might actually pop it around the core of the base, that way we can still get through it. But what you're trying to do with your Warden is you're trying to pop it exactly when you really need those balloons to survive the most. So really like maybe around the core to sort of towards the end of the attack is when you're going to pop it, but you're never going to pop it early. So let's go ahead and start our Lavaloon. So we're going to start with a Lava Hound here, a couple balloons in. Couple balloons here, then we're gonna have the Warden, then we're going to drop in the Stone Slammer, drop in another Hound, we're gonna drop in a couple haste spells here, then a couple more balloons. Notice how we have Rage, we're gonna Rage up right here. We still have another Hound, so we're gonna drop that there, drop in a couple more balloons right behind. And then, let's see, do the balloons need it? Not yet, but I think right here is where I'm gonna pop the ability. So you'll see that we're just getting our way through. We have a couple minions right here for cleanup. And look at that. Super nice. We're going to just haste up right through that area there. Boom. Pretty easy stuff. So with that out of the way, you guys can see, super easy Lavaloon. Of course, it's a pretty easy base for it, but on second note as well, you guys can see what I'm doing with that Lavaloon portion as well. In terms of it, I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect by any means. So what I was doing there, I was just trying to do my best in surgical placement. I really don't think about the number at all. I just surgically place them around the base. I drop in my Stone Slammer second, and, we still did well. We popped it around the core of the base. Remember, he has a pretty big radius, so you're going to catch a lot of those balloons there, as long as he's keeping up with them. But that gives you guys a really solid idea of how you guys can use the Grand Warden. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and move on into the next example, where we're going to be talking about that exact thing, which is going to be balloon numbers and balloon deployment. So, this section is going to be all over balloon deployment. So, you guys can see right here, all the number of balloons. I really don't need to mention it if they're all right here. This is everything from Town Hall 9 all the way up to Town Hall 13. So this is really going to be every defense in the game. So that kind of gives you guys the good idea of sort of seeing how many balloons it takes. And each of them are going to be grouped in terms of how many hits they actually need to take in order to be taken out. So that kind of gives you guys an idea, and I don't have to really talk about it too much. So let's go ahead and show you guys how we can actually sort of use our Lavaloon. So we're just going to do a short Sui hero here, if I can do it correctly. If not, that's fine. So we're going to start off with a balloon here, and then we're going to drop in the king, drop in the ice golem, and then drop in the queen. And we're just going to let that Sui hero go on its own. We should still be able to get a good chunk of value here from it. I'm going to drop in a couple balloons here so that then the queen is not so I force the queen to stay over there. Poison up the queen. Hopefully our queen will move in. Doesn't look like she will, which is fine. But I mean, I want to kind of deal with that CC or deal with the queen in some way. But we have the queen going in, so that's nice. So once we're able to get some value from here, so we'll pop the queen's ability now. Deal with that. So there we go. We're going to be able to deal with the air defense. Hopefully, we're going to be able to get the air defense. Please get the air defense. Thank you. So now what we're going to do is we're going to drop in our Stone Slimer here. I usually like to do that first. Then we're going to fly in our Lava Hound. So we're going to drop in a couple balloons right behind the Lava Hound. So we're doing 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to haste that group up because they are going into there. We're going to drop in another Hound. We're going to drop in a couple more balloons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to drop that in and then drop in the Warden. Drop in once I can kind of see a little bit. We're going to rage that group up there. We're going to drop in another Lava Hound. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to haste this group up. Going to haste this as well. I can still get some value. And you guys can see how I'm sort of flying into the base here. We're going to rage this group up. That's going to easily get through that air defense. And then we can pop our Warden ability right there to end it off. That's it. That's all you really have to do there. So you guys can see sort of what I was doing and kind of what I was talking about. I was talking about the balloon deployment, so you guys can see what I mean. And you guys can tell as well from, you know, the graphic right above my sort of overlay here. So the graphic kind of told you guys how many loons. There were some times where I was just dropping a bunch of loons. But other than that, it gives you guys a really good idea of how you guys can do it. Now, of course, I'm not perfect. But you guys can see that I dropped 3 balloons on defenses like the Archer Tower. So that way I was able to easily take it out in one shot. And then for stuff like, you know, if I was going into an air defense, I would drop in more balloons. So that's kind of the idea and sort of the thought process. So that kind of gives you guys the idea of how you guys can do a Lavaloon a little bit more successful. Of course, I'm not perfect at Lavaloon, but I still got some value from a Sui hero that kind of helped too. So other than that, it kind of helps you guys understand how you guys can actually do and actively do a better Lavaloon. So we're going to go over our last section before a couple replays. That, my friends, is going to be learning the Lava Hound and exactly what's going to be tanking for what. So next we're going to be going over the Lava Hound, and we just really quickly want to just take a look at all the air defenses here. So the biggest thing is you want to try and get as much value as possible. So let's say that these single infernos were multis. So one beam is going to result being one multi-beam. Of course, not exactly, but you'll see from here is we're just going to drop in one Lava Hound, and I want you guys to see what's going to happen. So we have an air defense, Archer Tower, Wizard Tower, 2 Archer Towers. We also have an Expo and a Inferno Beam on there. So that kind of gives you guys an idea of sort of the stuff. So we're going to take a look at that again. So I just want you guys to really see what is being tanking here. So you guys can see air defense, 2 Archer Towers, Wizard Tower, Inferno, and Expo. That's really good. And if the Eagle is activated, that would also be the Eagle too. So that kind of gives you guys a solid idea. So it would be the same on the other side. So what about up here? So what's tanking here? Well, we've got 2 Archer Towers, an Expo, Air Defense, Wizard Tower, Queen, 2 Wizard Towers, I'm sorry. That is a lot of good things. And then if the Eagle was activated, now on that one, it probably wouldn't. But on the stuff like down here, it would. So that kind of gives you guys just a really quick summary into understanding sort of, Lavaloon. So in terms of, well, not Lavaloon, but the Lava Hounds. So like, if you know exactly what's tanking, so if I just do like a spam Lalo with 1 air defense here, and I just kind of drop in a bunch of them, drop in the Warden, take a look at how much is actually actively tanked. Look at that 1 Lava Hound, and look at how much it's tanking for there. It's really tanking for a lot more than you really would think as you're entering into the base. It's Look at that. We almost cleared out everything that was already being tanked for by that one Lava Hound. So just really, you guys want to sort of get that understanding where you want your Lava Hounds to tank for as much as possible. So now now my friends, we're going to go ahead and take a look at 2 to 3 examples using Lavaloon. So guys, we've got our first Lavaloon, the Queen Charge Lalo. Now I will be doing a guide on this in the future. However, Queen Charge Lalo, really not that bad. You'll see that we're bringing 1 Lava Hound and the Stone Slammer. So what are we looking for? So typically your Lavaloon attack strategy, you already know what you're looking for. If you've seen my Electron videos and stuff like that, you know that you're looking for the CC, Eagle, or, you know, you're looking for the enemy CC, the enemy Queen, and air defense. Any other value is extra. So you'll see 1 Lava Hound. Now this is a great example of how you guys need to Lavaloon on a base like this. You'll see that we have some super wall breakers. Of course, if you don't have access to them, then 1 jump is fine. You'll see a jump spell being used in unison with it. But the idea is, you'll see right down here is, you know, what spells do you see that are pretty common? I mean, I see the Rage, I see the Haste, Poison, Freeze. So those 4 spells are definitely always good to bring. This one is sometimes good. You know, if you need to bring it in the CC, you know, you're fine with doing so. I would typically bring a Rage though. But what are we doing with the Queen Charge Lalo? Well, the idea of a Queen Charge Lalo is that we are actually actively looking to get value from a particular part of the base. So on this one, we're doing a longer charge. What I mean by this is that we're going to be walking our Queen in like this. So we're going to be walking our Queen, or I guess we're going to be charging our Queen into this area like this. Now notice how we did create a pretty quick funnel here with, you know, a couple wizards and also the king. And then what we're just doing there with the queen is just charging her way into the base. We're not taking long. We want to make sure that we're still keeping an eye out on the time, but we want to make sure that we're just getting the value that we need. After that, we can dip. That's all we have to do there. So you'll see that now we're actively starting our Lavaloon portion. So you'll see that realistically, he's already going to be able to get the value because he raged up his queen to deal with the CC and also the enemy queen. After that, he can just send in his Lavaloon. You'll see right here is that we're going to get a lot of value from the Lavaloon going in. Now notice how he used a lot of his Loons right up there. Well, he really wants a good group to go in, so he wanted to sort of funnel his way with the balloons into the base so that then they combine into a group. That's the idea of what he's trying to do here. So notice that he's not using any free spells. He used both rages with the queen, but you'll see that he's going into an air defense. So that's where you use a heal spell. That's where you're going to get a lot of good value from it. So then you'll see with the haste spells, what are we doing? Well, haste, like you see right here, we want to get to this air defense. Boom, we've got into the air defense. That's what you've got to think about when you're using a Lavaloon. And then free spells, like you're going to see right here, most likely he's going to use it on the air defense like I would typically. If I had a free spell left, I would definitely do so. Of course, it kind of does thin out a little bit, especially when you're only bringing 1 Lava Hound. And against like these bases where they have spread out air defenses, but you can still get a lot of value against these type of bases. So this gives you guys a really solid look into using a Queen Charge Lalo. We're going to take a look at another one. I don't know if it's going to be the end of the video after that, but let's go ahead and take a look at our second Lavaloon attack. So Electron is a fairly common strategy. I know you guys definitely enjoyed that one. I made a video not too long ago about it, so definitely very, very fun to use. You'll see that there is a single Inferno, and you'll see that we're using the Stone Slammer. We're not using the Battle Blimp. So typically, with that being said, the Battle Blimp versus Stone Slammer, it's a very hard decision because the Stone Slammer is a little bit harder to use because you have to funnel first before you do anything, but it's still fairly simple. But the Battle Blimp is far better. It really just depends on where the queen is in comparison to the town hall. Realistically, that's where it counts. So if the queen was like where the single Inferno is, I would totally do that. But if the queen is right here, I'd probably just Stone Slammer here. So that's just kind of the idea. That's really what you're trying to look for. This is not a fresh attack. That's why he knew where the Troll Teslas were. So what he's trying to do is he's funneling his Electron in. So he's going to be using an ice golem, which is going to tank for the queen and give her a couple seconds of the freeze. But then also with the king, he wants to make sure that he's creating this nice pathing here towards the queen. So that's why he has this going into the base here with the stone slammer. So there was that one defense, and then now he's moving this way. Once that thing goes down, then he's going to drop in the rage and the clone. The queen's now locking onto it. So now you'll see right here, drops in that clone. That's going to be able to take out the queen, so the E-Drag doesn't have to do it himself. He's going to easily deal with the enemy CC. I know some of you guys were actually asking about this. So that's how you deal with the damage CC or an E-Drag CC. That's all you have to do. So you'll see that when we're Lavalooning, so you'll see right here, there's 3 balloons because we're going into the Teslas, which only take 2. So then we're sending in that into our first group. Then we've got 3, 2, and 2. And then you'll see right here, we're going to drop in 2 balloons and then 3 balloons. So you'll see that's exactly what we're doing right here. They're going to move together in a group, and they're going to start one-shotting defenses. Then we're going to drop in another one, drop in 3 on there, 2 on the cannon. So you'll see that we're just surgically placing them in. We want them to sort of funnel out because we don't want them to all stay on the outside. We want them to stay on the inside and stay in a group because that's where you're going to get the most amount of value. So I didn't really want to pay attention so much to like the haste spells being used. You guys, I already talked about that in the Queen Charge Lalo, but this kind of gives you guys a really good idea of how you guys can actually use a surgical placement. So hopefully that this video helped. I don't know how good it's going to be for you guys. I hope it's helpful though. I try to make all my videos really helpful, so hopefully that this helps you guys. I might not be the best person to talk about this. I'm not the best Lalo person, but I really hope that just in general, it teaches you guys Lavaloon in a way where it's a lot easier to use and stuff. So with that out of the way, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you guys so much for all the support that you guys give me on here. So don't forget, guys, feel free to go ahead and subscribe, and also feel free to hit that notification bell so you guys don't miss anything, and feel free to support me as becoming a channel member. I'm going to leave a link to that in the description. Along with that, you guys are going to see all of my social media links right over here, which is going to be, well, I guess all my social media stuff. The links are in the description, so feel free to join my community Discord server. Feel free to join my Twitch. Or, follow me on Twitch or subscribe to me on Twitch. Feel free to also go ahead and follow me on Twitter and Instagram. All those links are in the description, along with the fact that you guys can also go ahead and, join any of the clans I'm covering within this game. Feel free to go ahead and check out any of the clans' Discord servers. Those links are in the description. And another thing that's in the description is going to be my merch store on Playmakers Gaming. So if you guys want some Exit Humanity jerseys or my own personal jersey or even a hoodie, then feel free to go ahead and check that out in the description as well. With that being said, guys, that's going to do it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you guys next time. Corrupt, signing out.